2 weeks ago, some of you may know that Chadwick Boseman, who was a movie star, he played Jackie Robinson in the movie 42, which was the story of the life of Jackie Robinson. He was in a bunch of the Avengers movies, and of course, he was the star of the Black Panther, which that was a mega blockbuster, as well as a cultural breakthrough for the African American community. The guy was also a phenomenal human being, from what I understand, but he recently passed away due to colon cancer at the age of 43. That's super young. But he passed away due to colon cancer. And that's really what I want to talk to you guys about today, is colon cancer. It's something that I recently learned about earlier in the year. But this year, 148,000 Americans will be diagnosed with colon cancer, okay? About 53,000 will lose their life. This disease will affect men and women equally, and it's something that I know a lot of people don't really fully understand. I know I was one of those people. Earlier this year, around March, I had some health issues of my own, and in the process of combating the health issues, one of the procedures that needed to be done to essentially source what could potentially be wrong with me was a colonoscopy. And I actually got 2 colonoscopies done in, I believe, a 2 to 3 week time frame. Basically, you get a colonoscopy, they put you under, and they basically go up through your colon, up your ass, for lack of a better term, those of you who don't know what colon is, with a camera, and they look around and they look for anything that shouldn't be there. And that's exactly what they did. And when I got my second colonoscopy, the doctor, when I woke up from anesthesia, he had shared with me the fact that although they didn't find what they were hoping they would find as far as something that could potentially help them source the issue of why I was there in the first place, he did come across some things called polyps, which he subsequently removed. A polyp is basically, it's how cancer starts in the colon. Okay, polyps are basically like, they start off as a growth, right? It's like a growth, smaller than a pea, and over time they can grow in size, and also, depending on the type of polyp, they can essentially form into cancer. Sometimes the polyps change into cancer and grow, and obviously, as the cancer spreads and grows, that's when people get in trouble. And the good part about polyps is when they're caught early on, they can be treated, and the risk of cancer can be mitigated greatly or avoided altogether. So in my case, when he told me that he found these polyps, and basically then explained to me what a polyp is and why he removed the polyps that he found, this was something that, like, I really kind of just woke me up a little bit. It woke me up because I really wasn't aware of what caused, colon cancer, what could potentially, lead to colon cancer. I wasn't aware that, the recommended schedule of which people should be getting colonoscopies. I wasn't there on the recommended schedule. I was there for an isolated incident. And again, I'm 37 years old. But again, it's really important that if one is to catch these signs and these symptoms early, then, like I said, that there's a dramatically high chance of any occurrences with the formation of disease to be avoided altogether. And, in this situation, it's important that you catch it before it becomes cancer. And clearly, that's where almost 150,000 Americans every single year, including Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately came up short. Age 45 is an interesting number because that is also the age that the American Cancer Society recommends that, quote, healthy people get screened for colon cancer. And then after that, the recommended protocol would be to get it every 10 years. Now, you go online, you do a Google search on this, you're going to see you're going to see the recommendation for people to get colon cancer. And unfortunately, that's what most people dictate their course of action based on, is an internet search, is what these governing authorities and health organizations are telling us we should do. And as much as I would love to be able to just sit here and tell you that we can always trust these recommendations, and that these accredited health agencies are there to lead you in the right direction, the fact is I don't like that recommendation. I don't like a lot of the recommendations that I see and that I hear. And in this particular situation, I don't trust that protocol at all. I mean, if that protocol was accurate, we wouldn't be losing as many people as we are every year to colon cancer. There wouldn't be as many instances of people developing colon cancer. There would be 9,000 people under the age of 45 who essentially were getting colon cancer, every single year. So healthy people, what does that even mean these days? We know that we're in, outside of the pandemic, epidemic, the biggest and most harmful epidemic that has been occurring within our society, the last couple decades, is the obesity epidemic. So 3/4 of our population in the US here, 3/4 of adults in this country are either categorized as overweight or obese. So you do not get that way by leading a healthy lifestyle, which means these recommendations that they're giving, most likely aren't going to be in the best interest of everybody, or at least 3/4 of the population, as it were. So I suggest that, at this point in your life, if you're 35 or over and you've never got a colonoscopy, or perhaps, you're a little younger and maybe you haven't lived a super healthy life to this point, maybe you don't, your diet isn't on point, and just overall, you objectively know that there have been some decisions that you could have made that would have been a little better throughout your journey this far, I highly suggest that you go and you get this procedure done. I recommend you go find somewhere that you can get a colonoscopy done, and that you get it done, because you're going to be ahead of the power curve. And man, I just, even if one person does this and actually catches something that can be immediately addressed right there on the spot, that could avoid just disastrous, potential deadly consequences, I would feel really, really good about that, guys.